are oppressed. We are exploited. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
How great I am.
If you're some man, what the rock
You want first place, come play with me. You want second place, go somewhere else.
Let us sing forever. Let us play forever.
Wake your ass up. Awaken the beast inside.
Ways.
Welcome back to Ways, the realest podcast in the world, maybe the universe. We're going to go with the universe this time because that's how real we are. I'm Osama.
My name's Mohammed.
And today, we got a fire episode for you. Now, we have a guest who actually wasn't on episode 67. She made a special appearance for us. We asked her short notice. We asked her to come back officially. I met her from Clubhouse. Her name is Nicole. Nicole, welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Osama and Mo, for having me.
Thank you. Now, before we start, you want to shout out your account?
Yeah, so it's Nick Chick with two I's, Niicchick.
Okay, number one, why is it named Nick Chick?
So one of my friends in high school just used to always call me that, and it was actually my name since the MySpace days, and it just kind of stayed.
That's pretty much like me.
I use it for everything.
That's pretty much like me with Kusa. Like that's like I've had that name for like 13 plus years now, so it's like it's stuck with me. It's funny.
Yes, and like a lot of my friends call me it too. So I'm sure probably the same for you too.
Yeah, but
like,
the only person that doesn't really call me it ever is Mo. He'll never call me it. This guy goes on.
Really?
He'll never call me it.
Because the thing is, I didn't know about the name until so late. So it's just like at this point, I just can't switch.
Maybe you have to think of a nickname for me.
Couldn't.
Because the thing is, when people started calling him that, I didn't know. Like, I literally did not know. So by the time I found out, it was only like recent. So I'm like, wait, what?
Exactly.
Cool nickname, but I just can't switch at this point.
Well, I still respect it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a cool topic for you. A lot of y'all can relate. If you went on dates, if you were on Clubhouse, and then you started meeting someone, that word is catfish. I think we've all went through it in different ways. Nicole suggested this topic. I think it's a great topic because originally I thought we were just going to be talking about dating and getting catfished by people that you see on a date. But no, we can go into depth into this topic. So I guess, Nicole, I want you to start it off. Tell us your experience about catfishing, what you think.
Yeah, so what I think is now that people have such like an online presence and they have almost this like other life online in a sense, right? And there's like that saying, fake it till you make it. And some people take that saying way too far. And you see like these profiles people have, and you especially notice it with people that you know in real life and people that you like really genuinely know. And you're like, who is this person? Like, it's almost like unrecognizable who the person is. Like almost they have this like online alter ego or something. And like you'll see this maybe like super like luxurious, extravagant life. And, that's definitely not who they are, who they were, or what their life seems to portray, in real life, and I feel like it's almost as if they're trying to live out this second life in a sense of maybe who they want to be, who they wish to be, or just they're really hiding who they are because they're afraid to kind of show that to the world, maybe out of fear of rejection or insecurity, or just what they expect people to see from them, kind of in a way. And, like on Clubhouse even, I noticed there weren't many people on there that I knew in real life when I had joined. And then I started to notice, and within other friends I have started to notice this especially too, where they were noticing people they knew in real life on there, and the person was almost like someone completely different. Like you wouldn't even know it was them by the way they're describing themselves, describing their lives, their lifestyle, everything. And some of them even lying about their name, everything. And it's like, almost like they're an actor who's portraying like this, like a character, like you'll watch a movie and, you fall in love with the actor and they're really cool, but, you fall in love with the character and think they're really cool, but like who the actor really is someone completely different. And I feel like that kind of goes with dating too. Sometimes people will be like everything you want them to be because they want to be accepted, and it's an insecurity, and they try to like put on an act and put on a show to be something else and someone else to win you over, but it's not really who they are, and it causes problems for the person they're doing it to and for them as well. And I think it's a huge problem, you know, today in society, like online and in the online dating world, because that's become such a big thing too, um, where people aren't really being who they are because they feel like, oh, it's not real life, or this person doesn't know me. I can just be whoever I want, and maybe they'll never find out. You know, kind of even like the Tinder swindler and things like that that you hear about.
I was listening the whole time. I don't know if you have you have a good voice. You should probably do a podcast in the future. Because usually some people talk and everything, then obviously ask questions. But I was literally listening the whole time. So yeah, based on everything you said, makes sense. I think for myself,
Thanks,
regarding catfishing, I was gonna take it to a different field. So once upon a time, back then, I was doing network marketing, and in that field, in that industry, the funniest thing about network marketing is the fact that the fake it until you make it mantra really works. Like, you have to fake it till you make it to an extent in the beginning to really push yourself and gain attraction and clarification to those under you potentially, right? And it was really troubling for me because at that time, if you're trying to be an influencer, especially in that industry, you have to portray yourself having the nicest suits, having the nicest watch, having the nicest cars, living the nicest lifestyle possible. You have to literally tell everyone that I'm selling you a dream that you always wanted. Imagine being on vacation any time of the week and like tax benefits and all these things, traveling different countries. Like, that was the dream. If you could sell that, you could literally become successful in the company, whatever company you're doing at the time. And seeing that struggle, that internal struggle between everyone, but everyone trying to do it, a lot of people fail because even though you sell that and it works, once people join you, you have to actually show them how to work. And a lot of people didn't know how to do that. So eventually they became frauds, they got called out, and a lot of people left them. And for myself, I'm very happy that I did not take that pathway because people were telling me to do it. I was getting pushed and it didn't fit right with my soul. Because at the end of the day, even though this industry and trying to attract the world that doesn't know me, I could portray that lifestyle. I have a history of 21 years of being Muhammad to a certain kind of people, and they know who I am, my standards, my character. So why would I ever switch when they know the truth, right? And I'm happy when I look back at that time, I decided not to catfish. My push, my struggle, my story was really just telling everyone that I haven't made it yet. I have a dream. I'm working on it. All you have to do is just join me and let's do it together. So that was my whole like pitch, essentially, was that I'm just on a transformation. I know I'm going to be successful. I don't know how, but if you could see what I see, then let's do it. And I think that worked long term, because even post network marketing and anything else, people respected the fact. And as I continue to do different things, they realized that everything that I was talking about and spewing was not hearsay, wasn't false, it was not catfishing to the highest degree. And I think if people do that, transparency, just being transparent.
I think so many people have to do that for like, especially for like, and with the catfishing thing too, in network marketing, you know, it really falls in that category, like those multi-level marketing scams, those like companies that will be like, oh my God, like wear this sticker on your arm and you're going to lose weight and just take these vitamins and it's going to change your life. Okay. Like taking vitamins in general is going to make you feel better, but I don't think putting a sticker on your arm is going to do that. You know, like so many things like along those lines that go into the network marketing, fake it till you make it, like you were saying. Obviously in some ways it could be good, you know, like when I started my business out a couple years ago, I tried to really portray obviously like the better parts of it and not behind the scenes all the craziness that goes on to make a business, you know, but kind of just showing like those like really like you know, nice parts of it, just like anybody would for like their feed or anything. You know, you're showing like the highlight reels that are the pros, not all like the nights where you're getting no sleep and you're stressed and you know, maybe somebody didn't show up to work, or, you know, a client didn't pay you and you're worried about, are they going to blow you off, and trying to get customers and trying not to have any kind of issues arise or problems. and all those kind of things that you don't really want to show. You just kind of want to show the best parts of it, which kind of makes sense in a way with the online dating and the catfishing, because they want to show, you know, their best parts, not the worst ones, but then it can sometimes harm you in the long run, you know?
I wonder how much reality TV plays into this, because catfishing before reality TV, I wouldn't have known because I was so young. But with the rise of reality TV and such shows, mainly like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, like they changed reality TV forever, because reality TV, if it was real, it'd be so boring because obviously you get to see everything. But the fact that what they portray as far as the edits and the cuts, that's what makes it appear as real.
Yeah.
The world is fixated on that. And I think that definitely blends into the world of catfishing as well, because it's just like, you know what? All I got to do is, like you said, just show the best parts of myself, and that's it. If you find anything that's bad about me or that was a lie, it's too late. You're already stuck with me, right? So I wonder how much Keeping Up with the Kardashians has an influence of catfishing. Do you guys think there's like a connection?
Yeah.
I think so. I was gonna say something quickly. I think it does have a lot to do with catfishing, because one, their whole family's a catfish on their own, like with all due respect, with the fillers, the all plastic surgeries or whatever they do. Like they're epitome of it. I think for them, they're not the image of what a girl or what a woman should be. Like a lot of the times they're like saying, oh, because if they're insecure about their body or whatever, they go change it because they think that, oh, someone's not gonna like me. But what does that show a little girl? What does that show like someone else who is already insecure, that, oh, if I can just go pay thousands of dollars, I'll look more like a Barbie doll? There's actually a video I saw recently, not recently, maybe a couple months ago, of this girl that wanted to do plastic surgery, and her plastic surgeon said, if I do this, you might not live tomorrow. Like he was so scared for her. Like, you're not gonna look beautiful no more. He's like, you're gonna like ruin your body with all this plastic surgery. And I think the concept of catfishing too is like, for example, if you go on Tinder, I don't know you guys, I know you mentioned that Tinder spoon there, but the first thing that is like Tinder, you're going on dating apps, you always see like 5 different photos, right? One of those photos is definitely the real one. The rest are all filterized. People have their Snapchat filter, their IG filters, and they already look good. I feel it's okay. Like, not everyone's gonna find you attractive. It's fine.
Yeah. But it's better for them to know when they're looking at your profile online than if you're catfishing them and then they go meet you in person and you're looking like someone totally different. And then what do you do in that case? You know, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, say you think someone looks totally different and you go meet them and you get this whole other person, and it's like on the spot, what are you going to do? Are you going to call them out? Are you going to stay? Are you going to make up an excuse and leave? Like, what do you do? Have either of you guys ever had that happen?
Honestly, maybe, I don't know. Like, to me, the thing is, I haven't went on dates in a minute, so like not really. But like, for example, I could speak about Clubhouse, like people who I have met. Some of them that I have, for example, I'll use on a good example, like Was. You know, shout out to that guy. When me and Mo actually met him, so when we met him, he's like as advertised. Like he's like the same guy you see on Clubhouse, and I haven't spoken to him since August. But the same person you see him on Clubhouse is the same person he is in reality. That's who he is. He's like, man is that energetic, that vibrant, does not give a F about anything. It's like he speaks his mind. But then you have people who I met on Clubhouse, for example. I just don't want to call them out, but I have met certain girls. I'm like, bro, your pictures are way too filtered. I'm like, this is not it. Or like, for example, I FaceTime people who from Clubhouse from like different parts of like the world, and I'm like, bro, like, why? Like, you were this here. I can't look at you normal no more.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I think
true.
one
That's
quick
true.
example,
Oh my god.
just back to the Kardashian thing, is just
Oh my
like
God, that's
the
funny.
fact that they constantly catfish society. So anytime you hear something that's happening between like one of the girls in real time, everyone thinks like, oh my god, this is like so bad. I feel so like hurt for them, and how could this possibly happen? And then like 6 months later, a trailer of a new season, and that whole timeline and story is just edited to perfection. And it's just like, wait, what? Was that really genuine? Like, was that really genuine? It was just a catfish in a sense, right? And it's amazing how like we get catfish all the time. Besides just reality TV, also music as well. Like with artists, catfish everyone to the highest degree. Like every single day, they'll create some narrative or storyline about their own feelings or beef with an artist, but it's never true and stuff. Like, yeah, go ahead, Osama.
I'm gonna mention. I know we like this is the. It's like every single day you hear more news about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, but even amongst
Yeah.
actors and like actresses, right? A lot of people think, and we were speaking about this before we started. We're talking about like how I understand people post their relationships on social media, and that's fine. But I'm just gonna speak about myself. I don't do it because I don't. A lot of the times when you put it on social media, you're first of all you're putting a filter over that social media because people only see that picture. It's like when you're playing, I don't know, you're playing mini golf. Oh my god, they're happy, but maybe like they went through a boxing match the day before. And yeah, and I think the Keeping Up with the Kardashians or like any other reality show, like what's that one with like
Any one of them, yeah, any one
Wives
of them.
Hollywood or Wives of like I have no idea what
Real
one with, like,
Housewives, yeah.
Housewives, those ones, bro. It's not how a normal person lives. Like they're like in their contract, it's asked for them to be a certain way. They have to be more hyperbole. Like they got to be more exaggerative. They got to be more, I don't know, lit. They times everything by 10. That's how it's supposed to be. You're not gonna get someone like me on a reality show because I'm so boring, bro. All I want to do is like talk about life, work, and they don't want that. They're like, nah, you don't make the cut. And they do this because they want to sell a lifestyle. That's really what you're doing. Like Kardashians are really selling a lifestyle of like, for example, doing always kind of pictures or looking a certain way. And for example, the biggest controversial statement she said is like, get off your butt and stop being lazy. I'm like, first of all, if people had the amount of resources that you did, like first of all, your dad was a lawyer for O.J. Simpson. 2, your stepdad was a Olympian. So if they had a lot of the resources you did, I don't think you would be saying that. So to me, it just in my head, I'm like, people have to see through the lines and say, yo, why am I looking like, you'll be surprised. A lot of people think Kim Kardashian is like their idol. I'm like, bro, you have to know yourself for a second.
And one thing I want to say too is just like, because she asked about us. For myself, I've never been catfish really. I talked about earlier how like, I potentially had that option when it came to like business and stuff, right? But for myself, it's like I know who I am and I know what I want because I spent a lot of time figuring those things out. So everything's very clear cut. If I think of an example, because obviously you watch it through your friends, I have one really good friend, and let's say this person gets catfished through beauty. Like he doesn't really know what he wants in a woman, but as long as she's beautiful, desirable, lustful, then that's all it takes. And it never works out in the long run. And he always comes back to the question as to how it didn't work. But the thing is, he was always catfished by the woman's beauty because he never saw anything beyond that. There was nothing more meaningful beyond that as far as her intelligence, her heart and personality and character. It was just the beauty. So see, some people get catfished in different ways. So for him, it was just like, if she's the most desirable woman in the room, then I must have her. But the cost that came with it was not knowing who she really was beyond just what you saw in appearance, right? So some people get catfished by different things. So for him, he was always getting catfished by someone's beauty. And it's just like, how do you tell someone like that who's already old, it's not like he's a younger person, how do you reverse that mindset and that framework of just thinking pattern when it comes to relationships? Like, how do you find a woman to be with 5+ years? How do you find a woman to marry? Like, you don't know what to look for because everything you're looking for is like surface level, just like the first step, nothing more deeper than that. So I think it's just it's how people are, number one, raised and how they get exposed and how they come to the sense of what they want in a person of both genders. And obviously if it's done in the right way, not saying everything is done the right way, it's more easier. But if it's just based on friends, influence, and just exposure from media and stuff, it becomes really confusing as to like, what am I supposed to look for in a partner? Because really no one knows that answer, especially within our age group, right? Like, no one's gonna go to their parents and be like, oh, how do I find the right partner? Like, it's like, no, I'd rather look at an artist and they're just chase for girls and just writing them off. And like, perfect example of Future. Imagine how many guys right now have the mindset of being toxic. Like, I have to be toxic to girls because if I do that, then I'm seen as desirable. That's how it works. Like, as long as I'm toxic because of an artist like Future, then I'm winning. You're not winning in the long run. It's just one-sided. isn't life supposed to be mutual, like connective, like supposed to be shared? So,
Well, yeah, you're right. But I also think Future's life is like captivate. I think a lot of guys or and girls, when they look at the Kardashians or they look at Future or Drake or whoever, they look at their lives as like that's the epitome of what a relationship should be, right? And to be honest with you, like again, no, because I guarantee you, you'd be surprised how many celebrities are going through so much stuff behind the scenes, but they gotta act happy, they gotta act like macho, they gotta have the makeup right. When they go to press runs, they can't be talking about personal stuff. And mind you, you have other news outlets and podcasts and talk shows who are talking about you 24/7 because they have insight about your personal life when it comes to catfishing. So, and a lot of people are, and ironically enough, people are blinded by the light of what it means to be a celebrity, what it means to be in a relationship. Like, I've never been catfished with a girl necessarily, because again, as I mentioned earlier, bro, haven't been on a date in a minute. However, with people on Clubhouse, I have been catfished in terms of like people who I spoke in terms of personality, or like, for example, like Nicole, and that rooms that we used to be in, like those big rooms. I remember people would like, I'm not sure if you were ever in them, but there was one time we were playing a game where I think Ask Anonymously, right? And
oh yeah, I remember those, and people would say
those would go so personal to the point where like people were getting attacked. Like you were, like talking like now, you'd be like this, but then people are taking shots. And I remember someone took a shot at me, and I died laughing. I'm like, bro, I was laughing. I remember someone said, I hate when Osama laughs. I'm like, bro. So when someone said that, I laughed. I opened my mic and I laughed.
You should, rightfully so.
And in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. So and I knew quickly that room, because I was new to that room. So the only people I knew before was like BK, and obviously shout out to him. I obviously knew Nicole. The rest I got to know after. And I just knew quickly that, there's a lot of animosity in this room. There's a lot of people who are acting as if they like you, but they want something from you. And for example, and I guess one example. Do you remember Sara, the food blogger? You're going blank.
The one, the whole thing that with the Instagram that got hacked.
Yes,
that one.
her.
Okay, yeah.
So there was one girl in that group that would always ask for her to follow just for the follow. Like she would be like rude to her in front of everybody else, but personal when I'm like when no one's there, like when no one else is there. Oh, please follow me, please follow me, please follow me. So you can sense people change up their character based off the actual environment that they're around.
Yes, like who's in the room, they'll act a little bit differently. Yeah. And it's okay if that's like your best friend in there, whatever, you're going to be different like that. But in general, like just different types of people, like why are you going to act all different? Or like girls that will act a different way if guys are in there than if they're just girls or their friends. It's like, for what? Why are you going to, like I was saying, like be an actor? So people like you for who they think you are, and who, for that instant gratification, that's going to wear off real quick,
There's a lot of good actors, not gonna lie, and I think people, when they think of catfishing, they only think of dating. Like, I met someone here ugly, bro. Like, this guy had a beard, man came with no beard or whatever, or vice versa, or the girl came with like short hair and she has long hair. But even if you think it with your friendships, sometimes, right? Like sometimes, obviously, it happened to me where like I've stopped talking to people because they showed a different side to themselves that I've never seen. But I think within your friendships, like Muhammad spoke about his friend, and I guess he's just basically he still doesn't learn. But even think about yourselves or your friends and how many times they use, I guess, actors or like celebrities to live their life. But funny enough, it's actually affecting theirs by listening to their advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone thought that Will Smith and Jada were the perfect couple. Like, for the longest time, before social media, they were perfect. We should all live our standards and our values and relationship according to them because they've been through it. They're the highest level, and we have to follow them. But through social media, and especially within the last 6 months, we found out that they're like anyone else. So money, status, power doesn't make any difference. Same thing with Beyonce and Jay-Z. They're perfect. Oh my God, we should follow them and stuff. You know how many people probably like change their like wedding vows and like rules about housing based on lyrics, and then when you find out all these things, it's like you're literally wasted something potential between you and yourself, like you and your partner, something you guys was to build together, but you let an external factor that's sometimes not even real, but that's based on their own thing, control your life. And when you find out that it's a fairy tale to an extent, it's just like, what was the point of that, right? And I love how you brought up the point, Osama, about like people you don't meet, well, people that you meet and they might switch up. I think that's a good example of catfishing. I think I relate to that more. It's just the fact that like you be who you are, you try to do good, you move around and stuff, you meet new people, and then you might meet certain individuals, cool and like easy go, happy and stuff. But like in a group setting or one-on-one, they might switch up. They might like start being rude. They might just be more aggressive, violent, and might backbite and gossip and stuff. And it's just like, what is going on and stuff. So people will catfish you in that way, as far as like double jeopardy, you know, like just like just like another mask. So when they're alone with you, they're cool and stuff, but around others, they just become a different person. And it's like, what is going on? Like, I thought we were cool and stuff. And the funny thing is, as you get older, those kind of people have less friends and less respect from others, because that doesn't survive. That toxic catfishing mentality doesn't survive. Less people want to be with you as you get older, because you have no time for it.
And can I add on to that point quickly? I relate more to the fact that people can switch up easily. I've seen it on Clubhouse multiple times, not specifically to me, but specifically to other people, where like there's certain people I'm already thinking about where I think they got the worst of it in that group, where they would be not like one of the nicest individuals, and then next thing you know, they're like being like rude, disrespectful, taking shots, and I'm like, bro, like what is wrong with you? Like relax. And there's one person and I'm gonna call him a creep. There's one creep in particular where this man would like, with talking to him, you'd think he's one thing, then you hear stories about him, you're like, bro, I'm never talking to you again. And I think that a lot of people think it's okay to, because you're online, you can say whatever you want. I'm like, I remember I said to one guy, because there was a big argument that happened one time, and I said, yo, listen, bro, you're sounding tough behind that microphone, like, just relax. I'm like, I guarantee you're not gonna be saying that to someone else's face. He's like, bro, you don't know me, like, man, I run this life. I don't understand where this thug lifestyle comes in. I'm like, bro, you're not thug on social media. There are people who can track down your VPN and come at you. So what are you gonna do now? A lot of people want to play this character. Like when Drake, for example, use Drake. When Drake is playing this, for example, this character when he's playing his music. If you look at all his albums, there's a different character being spoken about. There's a different Drake in each album. In reality, I guarantee he's one of the nicest people.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point, because every album is so different. If you even go back all the way to like So Far Gone and who he was at that point, to what is it now? What's his new one called? Certified Lover Boy. Yeah.
Dolphin.
Yeah. It's like totally different people almost.
Certified Dolphin. Shout out to Drake.
Listen, hold on.
He's from your guy's city.
I just want to say,
right?
he is from our city, and I just do want to say that Mo is a hater of Drake. He's not a big fan of him at all. Mo, yes,
I'm not a hater of Drake, man.
This guy's speaking about catfishing. This guy is a catfisher when it comes to Drake. Mo, you hate Drake so much that this guy will not.
I'm a Drake fan.
Here's one thing about this guy. You don't. Forget it. You're gonna get me going. Anyways, what? Yeah. Next topic.
I have a question for Nicole. So obviously we're talking about catfishing, right? And the whole problem is the fact that you'll meet people, and we kind of establish like different fields, whether it's business, relationship, social, like even cultural too, like, and also fixtures on influences, right? As far as celebrities and stuff, you're gonna meet people who are not. They pretend to be something that they're actually not in reality. How do you distinguish, like, what process can we do to make it easier for ourselves to find out what is the truth from the fake manipulative tactics that these people will use on us and other said people? Like, what can we do to clearly identify what is real versus what is not real?
That's a really perfect question, Mo, and I'm really glad you asked that, because I have a lot I have to say on that. So one of the things I'm going to bring up is, like Osama said, about the photos. And they have these 5 photos, right? Go off of the worst one. The one they look the worst in is probably how they look. So go off of that. If you're looking at, 5 different angles of somebody, and there's one you don't like, if you really don't like it and you're already kind of having a feeling, you're probably not going to like how they look in person then. Personality traits. If, you're asking someone a bunch of questions about themselves, like you need to find out how they treat their family, how they treat their friends, how they treat their waitress. Do they have pets? How do they talk about their pets? How do they talk about people in their life? How do they talk about and view themselves? What kind of career do they have? Religious background, if that's an important thing to you. Their lifestyle, who lives with them. Maybe even materialistic things like what kind of car do they drive? Where do they shop? All these things. You need to know all those kind of things before you even decide you're going to meet this person, if it's from the online dating world or even as a friend. Figure all these kind of things out, because you don't want to be blindsided either, where you're like, oh my gosh, I thought this person was somebody totally different. Did you think they were someone totally different? Or did you just not really take the time to know them and you just kind of got caught up on the nice parts of them, and you were ignoring the red flags because you just wanted to meet them and wanted to believe a lie or something? I think that's really important, getting to really know them well and really asking the right questions and not being afraid to ask the right questions, but also being really confident within yourself and not settling for what you don't want and what's not going to be at your level. And because that's only going to bring you down. And honestly, if you distract yourself with being occupied with somebody who's not on your level and not really what you want, just because you don't want to be alone, you're going to lose out on somebody who could be a way better choice for you that might not come along for a few months or years or even days or weeks. But, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of extra loneliness time for somebody who's a horrible match for you just out of desperation, which I feel like is happening with a lot of people too. Especially during times of COVID, I think people started to feel more lonely and shit got more real for a lot of people. And now they're kind of, I feel like, just settling, like, oh, I'll just be with anybody. Whoever wants to take me, here I am. Should not be like that. If you're going to decide to spend your life with somebody, you can't base it off that. Anybody you date, either you're going to break up or get married, so you need to figure that out early on and not waste your own time and along with other things or theirs. It's just going to affect both people's relationships in their lives and just mess things up for both of you guys and people in your life in general. So I think the most important thing is really recognizing those things early on before you decide to meet them. Or say you're talking to somebody online or whatever for a while, don't put all these fake scenarios in your head. This is a person you never even met. How do you know how they really are? And I also think before you agree to meet anybody, you have to FaceTime them. Have to. Even if they say, like you see on the Catfish show, like, oh, my camera's broken. All right, then I can't meet you then. Sorry. Figure out a way if you want to meet me that bad, or too bad. I don't care. You're not worth my time.
Not gonna lie, just an FYI, I actually hate FaceTime. People who FaceTime me, I actually cancel their call. Just want to put it out there. But
well, even if it's for like 10 seconds, just to be like, hey, this is me. Yeah. This is legit.
Honestly speaking, this is like, I know we're going off topic here, but I actually do not like FaceTime. It's funny because I have an iPhone and I love Apple, and that's like, I guess, one of the biggest key sellers of an iPhone. But I've seen people like from Club, and I've never FaceTime before until Clubhouse. People started FaceTime because the people in the States can't obviously call me regularly, so they gotta like either FaceTime or FaceTime audio with me.
Oh, that's true.
So then I'm like, bruh. So sometimes what I do is I put the camera on, but I just, it depends on who they are. I just like either like face it the other way, or I'm like, or I'll face it on like half of my head. I'm like, nah, bro, this is not me. I don't even do this with my friends, bro. The only person I'm willing to do it with is my girl. But to go back to something you said about everything you said, there's one person who I didn't actually meet on Clubhouse, right? Some girl, whatever. And
oh,
she's
not
gonna
get real.
No. She's not. Hold on. Looks wise, it's not Catfish. Personality wise, it's Catfish. It's like after we stopped, like after like we left, and then this person started acting different. Is when I was like, yeah, thank God I stopped talking, because let me tell you something. I was telling one of my colleagues this. I'm like, looks, you can always pass looks. If someone has an amazing personality, they're funny, they're genuine, then that adds on to their attractiveness, right? But if someone is like rude, I don't care how attractive this person is. If someone's rude, disrespectful, you're not gonna look at them in the same sight as you did when you first saw them. Your first perception of someone is always looks. Your second perception of someone is how you interact with them. Your third perception of someone is like your final decision. It's like, wow, either I'm going to continue talking to you, or I'm going to stop talking to you. And a lot of people always look
100%.
like, oh, this is looks. Like, for example, there's a lot of people on Clubhouse who I want to meet. Like, you're one of them. There's still people who I want to meet if I come down to the States.
Of course. Absolutely.
I want to still meet people.
Yeah.
And I just feel because I've had so many conversations with you specifically that I just know that I already know where this conversation is going. But the other, like that specific person, her personality. Again, I'm not even talking about this. Like, this is why I stopped talking. Maybe on her end, there's something that for her that wasn't in for me, but for her, it was just her personality. She started being disrespectful, rude. I'm like, I seen this before. I'm not gonna go. But aside from that, like, whenever I speak bad about her, because there's nothing bad about her, just that one turn off that I saw. But a lot of people always think about it's always looks. Now, looks is only one part of the whole scenario.
I have another question for you, because earlier you're talking about, towards the end of your point, about the virtues of sacrificing your loneliness just to have someone. And you literally said, which is pretty cool, how like that one mistake of just not like listening to yourself could literally like ruin years or months of your own life, just wasting your time with someone else. That pretty much talks about the importance and significance of patience. What are the virtues of patience in such a situation as such when it comes to just catfishing, online dating, and just waiting for the right person, as opposed to just having something at the moment just to say that you have something? What is it?
Yeah, I think that goes along with the instant gratification thing, like I was saying before too, where people don't want to be patient. They just want like everything fast right now, like McDonald's drive-through style dating. You know what I'm saying? like either I get this right this second, or I don't want it. You know?
But usually it's the ice cream machine that's broken,
that
right?
too. And that's the other thing. Like, you're not gonna get everything perfect how you want it right away. Like, you know, even in the dating world and stuff, you're gonna have to date people that maybe you don't like, and maybe that helps you figure out what you really do want. You know, and that's another thing too. Like, sometimes you might feel like, okay, I'm setting the bar too high. Maybe I should lower it a little. But think about, why are you lowering it? And then if you're going to think about, you know, maybe your demands are a little too high, or what you want is too much. But then you might meet someone else who is lower than that and realize, okay, maybe I was right, because this is not what I want. And I feel like for people that are more intelligent and, you know, successful in their life, and they're great people, it's going to be harder for them to find a match for themselves than somebody who is maybe not doing so well, not very smart, because ignorance is bliss, right? And all those kind of things. And I think that, but being patient is always good with so many things, like not being impulsive, not rushing into stuff. It can cause, you know, like a domino effect of issues down the road that you can't even fathom are going to come from it. And yeah, I think it's a important thing. But I think it's just really important, mainly be true to yourself and what you really want, because if you're putting on a facade and you attract somebody who likes that, once they get to know the real you, they're not going to like it, and you're just going to make more problems. When I was bringing up the point before of getting to know the person really well before you meet them and asking the right questions, also say the right things about yourself, because you could say something about yourself that they may not like, and it's better they know it now. Tell them now. If they don't like it, let them know now. Don't tell them these things a month down the road. Obviously, not everybody exposes their whole life story in the first conversation, you know, but let them know all the important aspects. And, you know, if that's something they're interested in, great. If not, keep it moving. You know, I think that's a really important thing, and not being too shy to speak up about that, and having the confidence in yourself that you need to. And that's a really important thing that takes, you know, a lot of time too. But it's important to get to know yourself, be most in touch with yourself and confident, and then you're going to show the best version of yourself to anybody you meet.
You guys thought we were done? I don't think so. We still gotta wrap it up. Please follow me at Kusa300. Follow my co-host Muhammad at Muhammad.global. Make sure to follow our page at Instagram. Also, make sure to subscribe to all our platforms. We drop every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Thank you. We'll see you next week.